Good morning, my good people. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. I don't know what time it is from where you're watching me from. Welcome back to my channel. This is Kenny from Dream to Destiny. Welcoming you back into the channel and bringing to you live the topic of this day. We're going to be talking about the wilderness. The wilderness. Yes, the wilderness. Now that you're out of the village, are you? Are you out of the village? Now that you're out of the village, where are you? Uh, and, it's getting out of the village doesn't solve the problem. If you thought getting out of the village gets you out of the woods, not yet. You're still in the woods. So, from the village to where? What next? Where are you right now? Did you get out of the village or you're still stuck in the village? Let me bring this close to you. When you get out of the village, you're going to experience another challenge, an obstacle. This obstacle is called the wilderness. The wilderness, are you ready for this? The wilderness is your training ground. This is your training ground for where you're going and how you're going to deal with the things that you're going to find where you're going. This is your training school. This is your training ground. So the wilderness will challenge you. The wilderness will put you down. It will put you to a point where you feel like you're crushed. But the wilderness is not there to crush you. The wilderness is there to train you, to prepare you, if you will. When I left Nairobi to Botswana, the journey from Nairobi to Botswana, Francistown, in particular Francistown, took 10 days. 10 days on the road. I never took a bath. I never brushed. I never slept. 10 days of wilderness. When I finally arrived in Botswana, my destiny, it felt like having a shower. And you will have that feeling. The moment you're out of the wilderness, you will feel it. It's refreshing. You catch a fresh breath as you start reckoning with your destiny. Let me refer to the Bible again. And there's an interesting story there of the children of Israel. These guys, they worked in Egypt for 400 years as slaves. Sounds like a village to me. Sounds like a familiar environment. I mean, 400 years working as a slave. It's nothing less of ridiculous. Now, watch this. God gets them out of Egypt, and he wants to take them to a land that flows with milk and honey, according to what the story says. But before they get to this land that flows with milk and honey, guess what? They have to pass through the wilderness. Now, scholars are saying this journey from Egypt to Canaan was supposed to take them 40 days. Realistically, if you look at it, the distance and all that, guess what? It took them 40 years. 40 years in the wilderness. What was happening? Training. Training was happening in the wilderness. Now, you have to be very careful as you listen to me. When you are in the wilderness, do not become comfortable in the wilderness because it becomes another village. Worst, the wilderness can promote your mind to go back to the village, and you lose focus of your destiny. Watch this. When you are in the wilderness, when you're being trained, it is not your time to complain. When you're going through tough times, it is not your time to start mourning and complaining and hoping and wishing it were better where you're coming from. This happened to me on the way to Botswana. I got to a point where I felt my village was better than facing this. That I could have been better back at home than going through this. And you're going to experience that. Now, I want to say this to you. Do not listen to those voices. Do not listen to those voices. Keep focused. Remain focused. And forge on to your destiny. When the destiny arrives, you will feel it. It will be so refreshing. So, the children of Israel linger in the wilderness for 40 years. And they start complaining to their leaders, to saying, we were better off in Egypt. We were better off in the village. At least there were graves there where we could be buried when we die. There are no graves here. Sounds very, very desperate. People who have lost hope because they don't want to face the training of the wilderness. The wilderness is a training ground. By the way, when I came to Botswana, I joined a company called Wilderness. It was not an extension of the wilderness in the desert. But I'm telling you, the wilderness that gave me employment in Botswana, the company that was called Wilderness, was also a training ground for me. It was an extension of the training ground to my destiny, because the wilderness gave me the business that I am running even up to this moment. So the wilderness is a training ground, is a place where they prepare you for what is to come. Remember, the children of Israel were told, where you're going, the land of Canaan, is not empty. It's occupied. And it is occupied not by ordinary people. It is occupied by giants. Now, how are you going to tackle giants when you're coming from a slave background or slave village and you're going to tackle a giant? You need proper training. This is what we're talking about. So wilderness is a training ground for you. And I'm enjoying this. I don't know whether, are you able to catch what I'm trying to bring here? You've already moved out of the village. Fine. But now you encounter another environment, which is the wilderness. And the wilderness projects a picture of an obstacle for you not to reach where you're going. But it is not an obstacle. It's a training ground. Now, many people, and this is what I want you to understand, many people give up here in the wilderness. They go back to the village. Many people run back to the village from the wilderness, and they will never experience their destiny. Do you know that 70 to 80% of the children of Israel who left Egypt never reached the destiny that was designed for them? Most of them died in the wilderness. Listen to me, my friend. You're not going to give up in the wilderness. I want you to forge forward, because I am going to see you at the land of Canaan, the land that flows with milk and honey. But remember, there are giants there. Have you ever fought a giant before? When you talk about giants, we're talking of huge challenges and problems. Have you ever fought a giant before? Do you know how to fight giants? That's why you need a training ground. That when you arrive in Canaan, you can fight the giants and possess the land and your destiny. I'll spend more time on this and explain to you that if you don't go through the wilderness, forget about destiny. Yes, you heard me right. If you do not want to go through the wilderness, you might as well forget about the destiny. These two are connected. Your training ground, your training platform, and your destiny. This is so true in every aspect of life. If you want to be great, you have to go through training. If you want to be someone, you have to go through training. And the best teacher, watch this, the best teacher is none other than the wilderness. When you talk about the wilderness here, we're talking of harsh reality. You have to swallow the bitter pill, sleep hungry, without food, without nothing. You have to face your bottomless person. The wilderness humbles you. That when you receive the reward and the gift of the destiny, you know how to conduct yourself, because the wilderness humbled you. Remember, without wilderness, you cannot achieve your destiny. Without the training of the wilderness, you cannot reach your destiny. I want us to learn more about the wilderness. In our next topic, we are going to tackle more about wilderness. Do not miss me on the next topic, because this is talking to your life, and this is talking to the person that I want you to become. I am excited, and I can see where you're going. It's a beautiful place. You're a great person. Never lose that. I am with you. I'm your coach. I'm your teacher. Kenny K. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.